You know the feeling. You bought the dress because it looked incredible in the store mirror. Something about the lighting, the angle, the way it felt just right for those 30 seconds while the sales assistant told you it was perfect. And then you wore it somewhere that actually mattered. And by the second hour, something felt off and you couldn't quite say what. Just a small nagging sense that the dress wasn't quite doing what it promised. Here's the truth almost nobody tells you. It's rarely the dress itself. It's one of 7 quiet habits hiding inside dresses that look completely beautiful on the hanger. And one of them is very likely in your closet right now. By the end of today, you'll know exactly which 7, and then the one near the end is going to surprise you. Because for years, it's been sold as the single safest choice a woman over 40 could make. It isn't. Not the way most of us wear it. Welcome to the Timeless Wardrobe. If you're new here, welcome. Every week we take one honest look at why some dresses quietly work for us and others quietly work against us. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a lovely moment because there's a new one of these every week. Let's get into the first one. 1. The Bodycon Jersey Mini Dress. You're at the weekend market, the smell of ripe peaches and someone's espresso drifting past, and you sit down on a low stone wall to check your phone. When you stand back up, your hand goes to the back of your dress without you even deciding to do it, smoothing it down, resetting it, the way you've already done twice this morning. You don't notice you're doing it. That's the part that should worry you a little. It looked incredible folded in your suitcase, smooth, fitted, modern, under the hotel lights. But clingy jersey has no structure of its own. It simply mirrors every seam of a chair, every shift in posture all day long, because nothing underneath it is doing the work of holding a shape. Stylists call this structural support, the difference between a dress that holds its own line and one that quietly asks your body to hold it instead hour after hour. A structured knit sheath with a touch of real weight to the fabric solves this instantly. Enough drape to skim gently. Enough body to hold its shape through a long morning without a single unconscious tug. If you already own the clingy version, a soft, structured blazer over the top fixes this in seconds. You don't need to replace the dress, just give it something to lean on. Elegance should never need constant correction. But something even more surprising happens with the very next dress, and it has nothing to do with how well it's made. 2. The loud tropical print dress. You're at a garden lunch, sitting beneath a wall of bougainvillea, olives on a shared plate between you and a woman you just met an hour ago. She's wearing a dress loud enough to compete with the flowers themselves. Palms, hibiscus, a color for every mood at once. An hour later, walking back to the car, you realize you can't remember what pattern it even was. You remember her laugh, the way she tilted her head when she talked about her daughter. That's not an accident. It's visual weight. The principle that a loud, high-contrast print pulls the eye to the fabric first and the woman second, every single time, no matter how confident she feels wearing it. A single, soft, tonal print kept within one color family does the opposite. It lets her, not the dress, hold the room's attention. Before buying a printed dress, hold the fabric a few feet from your face in daylight. If it still shouts pattern, instead of settling into texture, it will compete with you rather than complement you. The dress should frame the woman. The moment it becomes the whole conversation, it's already working against her. Now, here's a detail almost nobody notices until it's already too late in the evening. 3. The synthetic satin slip dress. You're at dinner by the sea, the light doing that soft gold thing it does right before sunset. Salt in the air and the sound of the tide somewhere behind the restaurant. And you catch your reflection in the window. The dress that looked so cool and expensive in the shop is starting to look faintly damp instead of luminous. You can't work out why, and it's bothering you more than you'd like to admit. It's drape. How a fabric moves with a warm, moving body rather than sitting stiffly against it. Synthetic satin clings in places you didn't expect by evening, wrinkles the second you sit down, and by the time the check arrives, the sheen that looked so beautiful under store lighting has quietly turned against you. Washed silk, or a silk linen blend, does the opposite as the night wears on. It softens instead of fighting. It looks just as elegant at 9 as it did at 7. Scrunch the fabric in your fist for 5 seconds before buying it. Natural fiber falls back into place. Synthetic satin holds a crease it never quite lets go of. A fabric that fights the heat will fight you all night. Choose one that's already made peace with it. Quick moment here that if you've made it this far, tell me in the comments which of these first 3 is already hanging in your own closet. I read every single one, and it genuinely shapes what we cover next. Most women completely miss the next detail because on the surface, this dress looks like nothing but romance. 4. The off-the-shoulder ruffle dress. You're wandering through a museum courtyard in this dress, stone cool under a covered walkway, the murmur of other visitors somewhere behind you. And for the first 10 minutes, it's genuinely lovely. Soft, feminine, catching the breeze as you cross toward the fountain. Then you reach up to fix your sunglasses, and the shoulder slips. You tug it back into place without even breaking your stride, because you've already done this a dozen times today. That small, constant correction is the opposite of elegance, even when the dress itself is beautiful. Because elegance has always come down to ease of movement. A woman who looks entirely unbothered by what she's wearing. A structured square or sweetheart neckline gives you the exact same softness and romance, but with a fitted or lightly boned bodice that simply stays where it's placed. If you love the off-shoulder look, choose one with internal structure at the bodice. The romance stays. The fidgeting disappears. If you're managing your dress more than you're wearing it, it's already costing you more than it's giving back. Number 5 is the one that changes how you'll shop for your next trip completely. 5. The fast fashion smocked boho dress you're walking a quiet street in Paris on the 5th day of your trip. The smell of fresh bread from a boulangerie you keep meaning to try. And you catch your reflection in a shop window. The dress that felt so breezy and effortless on day 1 now looks a little tired. The elastic at the bodice slightly looser. The fabric slightly limp in a way it wasn't a few days ago. It's not you. It's construction quality revealing itself over time. Something a single glance in a mirror on day 1 could never show you. Thin, elastic, and lightweight fabric age quickly both in how they hold up and in how they photograph after only a handful of wears. Fewer dresses of noticeably higher quality than a well-cut linen or cotton poplin cost more up front and simply keep their shape, color, and structure for years, repaying that cost every summer they're worn again. Check the stitching along the seams before buying. Tight, even, closely spaced stitches are a small, reliable sign the dress was built to last the trip and the 10 after it. A dress that only looks good once isn't really a bargain. It's a cost you'll pay again next summer. The next one splits opinion every single time we bring it up, and I think you'll understand why. 6. The cutesy matching resort set. You're back at the hotel, shutters open to the sound of a scooter somewhere below. Laying out a full matching set on the bed before dinner. Dress, sandals, bag, even a scrunchie, all purchased together in one bundle, all in the same print. It felt effortless when you clicked buy, almost like a relief. One less decision to make on a trip already full of them. At dinner, though, something quietly shifts. It's individuality and balance. An outfit assembled entirely by someone else, all at once, leaves no room for your own personality to come through. The set cost more than the rest of your outfit combined. And by the time dessert arrives, nobody at the table could tell you what color it even was. If you already own a set like that, wear just one piece from it tonight paired with something that's actually yours. A scarf from somewhere unexpected, sandals from a different trip entirely. The women you actually remember from a trip are rarely the most coordinated. They're the ones who looked most like themselves. And now the one that surprises almost everyone because for years it's been sold as the one dress that's always safe. 7. The shapeless flowy maxi dress. You're walking home through a quiet neighborhood. As the light fades to that soft blue, it gets right before the street lamps come on. In a long, flowing maxi dress you bought specifically because every article called it forgiving on every body. And to be fair, it can be exactly that. But watch it for a moment. In the evening air, there's no waist definition at all. And the fabric barely moves as you walk. It just hangs, adding volume instead of the graceful drift the product photo promised. This comes down to silhouette and proportion. The shape a dress creates on a moving body, not just the shape it holds on a hanger in perfectly still light. Elegant European women still wear maxi dresses constantly, even happily. But they choose ones with some waist definition, a tie, or a subtle inner seam that gently suggests the shape underneath, in a fabric light enough to actually move with each step. Walk in it before you buy it, right there in the store. If it doesn't move when you do, it won't move for you later either. Forgiving and flattering are not the same word. One hides you. The other reveals you gently, on your own terms. The real lesson: here's what all 7 of these have in common. None of them are ugly dresses. None of them mean you've made a mistake, and none of them mean anything about your body that needs fixing. They simply reveal, quietly, that you were never taught the handful of principles working underneath the surface: structural support, visual weight, drape, ease of movement, construction quality, individuality, and proportion. You don't need a bigger wardrobe. You need a wiser one. Fewer dresses, chosen for reasons you can actually name, worn with the kind of ease that never needs a second thought, no matter which city you're standing in. Tell me, which of these 7 surprised you the most? And which one is hanging in your closet right now?